Season 1, Episode 6 of the Many R's podcast. Welcome back. It is Wednesday the 16th of June, my sister's birthday, and I'm in freezing cold Orange right at the moment, but I'm as happy as Larry, and I look forward to telling you about that right now. Got any questions, give us a call, 1300 327 123, or go to our website, bottom right hand corner, dcpartners.solutions, and click on the instant chat message. Thank you. Well, what a rusty introduction. I'm very, very sorry. It's been a long time. I've had probably the busiest few months of my life, and today is Wednesday the 16th of June. It is the afternoon. I'm in Orange at our new house, actually, believe it or not. We're COVID safe out here, and look, this COVID thing has been wonderful, and in lots of ways, and it's freed up all sorts of reasons why you don't need to be in Sydney, you don't need to be in a capital city with the online world. So here we are at Orange in my new studio, and my new home office and studio, and I'm looking out. There's snow out the window. It's melted, but it was snowing here several days ago, and our property is actually called Snow Gums. So it's been absolutely wonderful. And why has it been wonderful? Well, 2 days ago, one of the biggest events in my life one of the biggest chapters in my life actually came to an end. I've been studying a thing called a Juris Doctor, which is a postgraduate law degree. It's a master's. 24 subjects. I'm a busy boy. I've got an MBA, I've got businesses, and been running litigation funding for a range of different people. And I'm a busy boy. And I started in, I think it was like the 17th of February 2014. I'm extremely privileged. I'm definitely white. I'm middle-aged. I'm male. And I've been on a Commonwealth supported place since which is a code for a subsidised law degree at the best university. Well, arguably the best university in Australia, and it has been a sensational ride, and I'm just so privileged, and I know I'm privileged. So, and apart from being white and male and middle-aged and all that, we're in a great part of the world, and I'm just bubbling and enthusing with happiness. I felt a huge relief at the end of my studies, and I was writing a 4,000-word essay on the inviolability of the person, which is very interesting, and I'm happy to share with anyone or talk about it. 1300 327 123. I just couldn't be happier. So I've got we've got a very interesting program. It's just like a bit of a catch-up program, and we're not going to do our next episode until, well, we're still in Sydney, so we're partly in Sydney and we're partly in Orange, and it's out of Orange, there you go, but we're on Mount Canobolas, to be precise. So have a look. Biggest mountain between Sydney and Perth. It's about 1,300 metres. Well, we're about 1,000 metres above sea level. 1,004. There you go. 1,004 metres above sea level. So that's like Katoomba, and it is just a sensational, beautiful place. And we're coming here on, at the end of June. We're moving. We're keeping a base in Sydney, and we're going to spend a lot of time up here. And there's so many sort of interesting work options out here, and look, we'll talk about some of those throughout the program. So this particular episode, I hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit different. It's been a while, and I apologise. I am a bit rusty, but let's see how we go. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we've got some new villains to talk about. We've got some old villains who are coming back, and let's well, there's the phone. Okay, well we'll cut a break there. Okay, well, on the show today, we're going to, I mentioned we've got some old and some new villains. Sorry, there's the camera. We've got some old and some new villains. So, well, this is going to surprise you. Bunnings. I'll just run through the topics, and then we'll do a more detailed dive into them. So, Bunnings and their gift cards. This is a reward. Property, in the property area, we're going to catch up on a new villain. We've got a new mate called Matthew James Taunton. From his business was called MBO Estates. It's now known as Able Agency. They're out at Box Hill in Sydney. We're going to catch up on Hakan Kuttup. Got some news there. Mahoney Law and John Mahoney and Law Cover. We're going to talk about them. We're going to catch up on the latest on Ralph Palligaru. We're not going to go too much into that because we'll just give a general update. We're not going to talk about specific cases, and we're certainly not going to prejudice any cases, but we'll just have a quick update on the comings and goings of Ralph Palligaru. Maybe and Amrita. Mohan Kumar. We'll touch on him. Philip Beasley, now he's a lawyer. John Mahoney is a lawyer as well, but we've got Philip Beasley, who's a lawyer for Greg Walker. So just very quickly, we're not going to slander anyone here, but we're going to quickly catch up on Gregory, John Walker and Karen V. Walker. We've got an automotive page. A very good friend of mine is in the automotive business, and the automotive money lending business, to be precise. And some of you may know I ruffled some feathers. I wrote something, and anyway, it got a tiny reaction. So, but look, there's definitely smoke when you see smoke. Well, there's some often fire. Well, there's a lot of smoke here, so we're going to we'll touch on that about our website as well. We're doing some major revamp. This is the benefit of finishing my law degree. Well, I've got heaps of time now, so we can sort of spend time getting some of these things right. So yes, there's a motor dealers and an automotive page. So we're very interested in shonkies in that line of business. Franchising. This is really what my letter sort of touched a raw nerve. Wow. Okay, but well, we were specifically talking about some changes to the franchise codes. I'll give you links in a moment. We'll very briefly touch on receivers, liquidators and receivers. Very quickly there, we've got a little bit of news on our dear friends from Carnarvon Cherry and Bonnie Glenn, Bernard and Fiona Hall, and in the money business. Well, we're actually we've been doing some litigation funding for quite some time, and so we are very, very interested in the money space. And our website, you'll see that, especially, well, we were certainly going to do something last year on tax debt lending, but watch this space, because we are very interested in that. And having just completed my law degree, I did a lot of stuff on corporations law, and so the tax debt lending is more for company lending. So we've got a business called DCP Capital, which we'll talk about, and there'll be links in our website. But coming out of COVID, and I'm sorry if that sounded insensitive, I said COVID had been great. It's obviously been terrible and dreadful, but it's changed the world. There's no doubt about that. And coming out of it, for better and worse, but coming out of it, well, some businesses need help. So you might wonder, well, why do we do these blogs? And well, we're interested in people, and we're interested in people getting a fair crack and all the rest. And there's many businesses that it's now the 16th of June. I have no doubt that there'll be a lot of activity with our friends at the tax office, and someone's got to pay for the the virus, and generally that's going to be done through the tax system in some way. So we want to help people sort of meet their obligations, and so we've got a new product there. But in the money space, we've got a company that has come to our attention called Lightspeed Mortgage Management, I think they're called, and I'll put up some links to Lightspeed. And I stumbled across this particular article. I'm going to put a link to it. It's very interesting. A friend of a friend did some borrowing from, well, actually didn't do the borrowing. They got offered a loan from Lightspeed, but they were Lightspeed in sending out the court papers, and I'll put up. We'll put up some information about these documents. They're quite stunning, and we'll explain how Lightspeed do business, and we'll put in a link to the particular article that caught my eye about Lightspeed. And as I said, we're doing some work on our website now. We are relocating from Sydney, but we're keeping a branch in Sydney, and I'll certainly spend about 4 days a fortnight in Sydney, and so what would that be? About 7 or 8 days a fortnight in Orange and in the regions, and getting work done, so that I can come to Sydney. And but there's all sorts of opportunities. Oh, sorry, and back in Orange, under our DCP Capital arm, there are some very good development opportunities. So we're putting together some funds. Some of you may know we had a litigation fund, so we're putting together some property funds, and so there's some very interesting. There's an information memorandum coming out in a few weeks. So this, as I said, this is a bit of a catch-up episode. Now we'll get into the Bunnings situation. Well, it's now actually the 2nd of July, and look, for one reason or another, we're going to put all this content into episode 7, but we'll just use this episode as a bit of a catch-up, and I hope you enjoyed it so far. We talked about why there'd been a huge delay for a couple of months between the last episode, I think episode 5. We've just also published episode 4. So look, it's been a hugely busy time for me, finishing studies. Started in 2014, in February 2014, finishing those studies, moving place, and in the last couple of days, Sydney's gone into lockdown, so the timing probably really couldn't be. Well, it's terrible. The lockdown is very unfortunate, but getting out of Sydney, and at least for at least to work part of the time out here in Orange is a real opportunity. So we thought it was best to just publish the this particular episode, and then we'll go on to season 1, episode 7, and we'll talk about the Bunnings scam, and catch up on some of our new and emerging and some of our older villains, which we'll talk about in much greater detail. So tune in very, very soon. We're going to start recording season 1, episode 7 very soon, and that should hopefully be up in the next few days. Thanks very much. Bye.